Hello, everyone. My name is Dawn, and welcome to another episode of The Chamber Within. You know, the whole reason I'm here is because I tend to ask a lot of questions. I have questions about my awakening, I have questions about my experiences, and questions about the books that I read. Books that even explain some occurrences that may happen when you begin to awaken spiritually. I was the kid that asked my daddy why, even after he gave what would be to him a reasonable explanation. I continued to ask why until his patience ran out and he redirected my attention elsewhere. Now, I'm not sure why, but I always needed more clarity in my life. I'm always looking, I'm always searching for deeper answers, and I realized that now my clarity comes from personal experience, the experience of me piecing together the reason why. I have wondered over the last 5 years about the term healer, what it means in the spiritual community in that context. And it has really shown up for me as the ability to hold space for another to be seen, allowing a stillness in which they can unwrap a moment of pain and safety so that they can address it and allow healing to begin through acknowledgement, release, hopefully release, and then ultimately finding a way to heal through that. It's about solidarity, support, and the ability to look at the matter together. You know how you're dealing with an issue, something small, right? Something that you're probably overlooking, but you need some other eyes on it. And you bring this issue to someone. It could be a small computer issue, something on an application, on your phone, like a little small app, and you're hitting blocks and walls that you can't get through. And then you have another person look at it, maybe a friend, a coworker, or even the tech guy who's sick of hearing from you. I've been there. And they say, well, have you tried this? And then for some reason, boom, problem solved. It's like that, but on an emotional level. Now, we are capable of solving issues on our own, yes, but ultimately we are social creatures. And it helps to have someone else to sit with us and talk with us, or just to simply listen to us without judgment. Now, this is what I've gathered. This is an actual answer that I've come to from the many questions I've had about what a healer means or what it means to be a healer. The healer isn't doing the fixing, but they are, however, helping to curate the atmosphere of love and stillness. They remember themselves in a similar plight. They see themselves in you, and knowing that and having that understanding is what ultimately helps the other person to go through their plight. This is the grounding that's needed for them. That stillness, the foundation of, or for, I should say, all of their emotions. As the healer, exhibits unyielding presence. This is what we mean by creating the space. It's here where the yelling, the tears, the confusion can in fact be released in safety. Because once you get past that point, just beyond the turmoil, there's a revelation, which is a lesson for the person, the reason why they've gone through all these things. How often is it where you've had an issue or someone else has had an issue in your life and it's brought to another person's attention and they're not really hearing you or you're not really hearing them? You're like, well, either been in a situation like I have where someone else is one upping you, well, you think that's bad. I've been here where they minimize your issue and conflate their own. It's not about comparison, it's about listening, hearing them, allowing them to be seen, and having them trust you with that pain. Just allow the words to be. This is what I've learned. I've learned that just allowing that person to express their hurt, their pain, their confusion, their anger, all of it, just get it out, just allowing them to express it Having them deal with their thoughts is the first step in healing. You're not doing anything, you're creating a safe space for them to be seen. It has very little to do with doing anything. I'd like to add that allowing people to come to their conclusions about um, their turmoils or their problems is a great gift for them, right? It's a package they're able to unwrap. You telling them, oh, this is about this is about that, and not them kind of believing it or accepting it or coming to a knowing within themselves is like unwrapping a gift for someone else on their birthday or Christmas or what have you. Being able to find their own answers, especially in a moment where they can only hear their own thoughts, sometimes, especially if they're in a funk, saying words of love and encouragement might indeed make them matter. If you know the individual, move accordingly. Some people hearing positive words of encouragement, especially while upset, can be infuriating. So just listen. Just let the words be in the air. Ask me how I know. Just sometimes you just need to let it be. And that in itself is helping. This brings me to another point about the term healer. Now, when I was younger, but still quite the adult, so mid to late 20s, I would wonder about the two women in my family that brought the most peace to everyone else. They were my mother and her older sister. I I look back on the challenges they had in their life and wondered how. How are they like this? How are they so helpful and so peaceful? They were soft spoken, peaceful, as I've mentioned, but had seen and experienced many things that I wouldn't dare to want to live through. I wanted that for my own life. I wanted to have a peace and stillness within myself, to be a grounding, a grounding entity, uh, a space of peace and solace for myself and others, right? Because you can't do it for others if you aren't able to do it for yourself. I want it to uh, be like a beacon for those who are in the dark. And I really wrestled with that because there's a point where um, people come to you and you're ready, or people come to you and you're not ready. So, ready to me means that your cup is already full. This is not uh, diminishing your energy or your light. And truly, it's a balance, right? It's like sharing what you have instead of sharing what you don't have and depleting yourself. And so the balance for me came when I was able to self-regulate, and the space that I've spoken of previously is just stillness. You're not going back and forth. If you're literally trying to help someone, you're just there. Their mood is not affecting your mood. Their strife isn't creating strife in your own life. You are literally um, the vortex. You're in the middle of it. You see the storm. You know it's going to pass. You allow it to happen. And they are along for the ride. Because if you can exhibit that, that's all the lesson they may need. How can this person be so peaceful? Because I've been on the other side of it. And I'm like, doesn't this make you mad too? Oh my God. Because when your world is crashing down, you wonder how in the heck is everyone else able to keep going? How come no one else is having a tough time? Especially in moments of grief. You know, for you, the world stops and people are still going to work. How dare they? They're still shopping. They're still, because they aren't going through what you're going through because their life is their own. And we need that sometimes. We need that regulation. We need to see that it's okay to keep going. And this turmoil is just but a moment in time, and it too shall pass. One more thing I'd like to mention. Um, in the books by Paul Selig, which he channels the guides, they talk about how we see people, how important it is that we see them in the best light, because energetically, you don't really think about the thoughts you have toward a person. You may shoot them daggers like, oh, I hate this person, or I love this person as they walk into the room, right? You're not saying it aloud, you're just thinking it. Those thoughts matter. So, in this particular sense, in a place where it's just you and another person, the thoughts that we have also affect them, especially in an intimate setting. So, as I mentioned before, the words of encouragement, of love that they may not hear, you can send it to them just in your mind and through your hearts energetically. That would help on a level that you wouldn't be able to see yet, but it does help. So, I just wanted to share that with you this week. If you have ever experienced a healer in real time or maybe in hindsight and you wanted to share that story, I would love to hear it. If you've been a healer for someone else in their time of need, I'd love to hear that too. You can contact me as always at thechamberwithin@yahoo.com. I wish you all a great week and I will talk to you later. Bye bye.